Welcome to 𝐄𝐦𝐤𝐵 TV, a division of 𝐄𝐦𝐤𝐵 Media and Broadcasting. "95% of our lives are run and created by our subconscious mind programming. Imagine if your subconscious mind is running many negative, disempowering, and self-sabotaging programs. How will that 95% of your life turn out to be? Would you like help to change your subconscious programming into something that works for you and set it to attract and create everything you desire? Join Tamra Oviatt in her show Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer here on 𝐿 where she will connect to the source energy and change your subconscious programming by deleting your negative belief systems. Tamra is the founder of Sacred Activations, a subconscious metaprogramming modality that rewires your brain and shifts hundreds of your belief systems so you can break away from lack, pain, and suffering and take control of what you want to create in your life. Tamra has helped hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, and she is here to help you too. It's not about fighting what you don't want. It's about creating what you do want. And the only way to do that is to change and upgrade your subconscious programming. Let Tamra help you create magic in your world. Tune in every week at Metaprogramming and the Human Biocomputer.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another 𝐿 episode. I'm Ella Isakov, and I'm a practitioner and a teacher, and I'm so grateful to Tamra for letting me co-host or be one of the hosts. And if you are new here, everything of Tamra's activations and webinars and teacher trainings and all the goodies, all the healing goodies, all you need to heal. Oh, don't not this disclaimer, but everything is on TamraOviatt.com. So head over there, and you can also subscribe to this if you haven't already, and then you get the recording as well. So I'm Ella, and I'm one of the teachers, and I actually run regular webinars. I actually have a medical intuitive training coming up in February, March, because 2 weekends, 4 days, and I also have a very popular YouTube channel called Inside Healing. Every Friday, another little episode goes live. And then I run maybe 1 or 2 sacred activations, but I speak. It's kind of like this, but only for 15, 20 minutes. So it's a shorter. So if you haven't encountered that, it's a great way to stay connected with me as well. So today's session, I have to prelude at this theme I've been working on myself with since 2004, but I would say more seriously since 2008, 2009, when I was moving through my dark night of the soul. Everything kind of propelled me to face a lot of things. And that is truly how you overcome what the theme today is, by facing it. Remember, awareness is the first step to change. And that is samskaras, which are both thought patterns and emotional patterns and behavioral patterns. But we really are going to focus on the emotional and the patterns that keep self-sabotaging us lifetime after lifetime. Wait till you hear some of the things that we carry. We have a long luggage of things that we carry over our thousands of lifetimes. Sometimes when I say that, even I'm mind-boggled by how rich and complex our lives have been and how rich and complex we are. And then when we think about how rich and complex each of us are, then we also see the grand scheme of each of our potential, each person's grand potential. And I think a lot of people don't live up to their full potential because of some scars. So let's dive in. First, of course, I think it's best to define. Some scars are emotional scars or emotional wounds, but yes, mental too, because it does move along your neural pathways of your brain, and it gets etched in deep. So the pattern gets etched in deep and becomes so familiar. And we are creatures of habit, so we like things that are familiar, known. So we not only do we move towards that with our reactivity or our emotions, but we even attract it, which is it's a whole thing that goes beyond just our physical body, our thick, dense anchor to our subtle bodies. All of that plays in the samskaras that we have ingrained, etched in deep as our emotional scars. And as humans, we are vulnerable to repeating birth and death cycles over and over again of these patterns, which is like, even no matter how many years I research this stuff and work with this stuff in myself, I'm still like, wow, the vastness of our beings is still like, I'm still in awe, to be honest. Causes us vulnerable and suffering undercurrent imprints called samskaras that we absorb from past lifetimes, and even, dare I say, like, even the samskaras that we absorb in early lifetime are still repeating patterns from other lifetimes. So I can say it's from your childhood trauma, but that still could be repeating the pattern from your past lifetimes. So samskaras are impressions formed from previous life experiences, traumas from this and past lives that over time, with repetition, weave groups, neural pathways in the brain. So yes, this is our thought patterns, because remember, our thoughts have a big impact on what we create and how our life looks. So do our intentions. So through synapses and brain frequencies, we have an easier time going down the same pathway, perpetuating the same emotional scars, the way of thinking, our emotions that we gravitate to, like anger or not belonging, childhood trauma, separation or feeling alone in this world is a huge one. Like seeds planted in the subconscious mind, which is why Sacred Activations is so amazing, because we clear thousands of subconscious belief systems, limiting belief systems that do not serve us. So you're in the right place. I guess so am I then. In the subconscious mind. So our conscious awareness responds to this internal or external stimuli. I think it's really important to also understand it's not just the external stimuli, but it's also how we feel about ourselves. So the internal stimuli that perpetuates how we respond to the external world. Okay, so it isn't just all those things that we attract with our samskaras. So the pattern keeps deepening with repetition, usually through triggers. And samskaras color our perception of self and others, creating an identity based on whatever we experience. There's such great attachments. I want to quote, there'll be a few quotes today from Bo Forbes. If you guys know, I also teach a bit of yoga, and she's a clinical psychologist and a very unique yoga therapist, and I've actually trained with her a little bit as well. We're born with a karmic inheritance of mental and emotional patterns known as samskaras, through which we cycle over and over again during our lives. Some of the big ones that we identify with are unworthiness, not being unlovable, not belonging, feeling alone and separate. So it took me quite a bit to release some samskaras, because I went through the foster care. So my whole childhood was chaotic. And then by the time I already was feeling abandonment even before I got into foster care. But then with 3 homes later, I felt all these things. Mostly, I think the biggest one is feeling alone in the world. I would be in a room full of people. It wouldn't matter. I'd still feel like I was alone. So these are huge, very, very deep samskaras that I think a lot of us carry, especially abandonment. Even if you weren't abandoned by your parents, just even if, the anger, resentment towards God, even feeling abandoned by life or not feeling supported, which in your body is actually your spine, metaphysically represents not feeling supported by life or others. So we've all had these traumas, and even the family that we're born into. So even the family that I was born into, okay, I'm going to wait to say this till after. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but there's some other juicy stuff coming. So we repeat patterns from the emotions and thoughts that are familiar to us, because remember, we love familiarity. We're even conditioned to kind of be in the know. Otherwise, we get really scared. And that's, of course, not feeling safe in the world is a big one. When we think over and over again, I'm not good enough or not creative, or I'll never accomplish this, or I'll never accomplish that. No one will love me for me. So we hide parts of ourselves, or we hide our whole self. Even in eating habits is a way of hiding ourselves. The emotional scars deepen with all these behaviors, thoughts, emotions, and yeah, our, like even some addictions, like binging and all these are also their actions. They also deepen some scars, or they perpetuate some scar that makes them deeper. And then, of course, Pema Chodron, if you guys don't know, Pema Chodron is like, oh, I think if you've never heard of her, then the book that you need to get is When Things Fall Apart. But she's got lots of quotes, and this is one of them. And this is very true. Nothing ever goes away till it has taught us what we need to learn or know. So one of, like if you feel deep down or in your subconscious mind that you're alone or that you're not lovable, it will keep perpetuating it. So here's what I want to say about my life and also the samskaras. We have so many emotional scars, like thousands, because we've had thousands of lifetimes, that we couldn't possibly carry all those samskaras to learn from and face and to heal in one lifetime. So on our soul level, our seventh chakra that goes with us through every lifetime, on a soul level, we choose a few of our samskaras to heal in this lifetime. And this is where I wanted to say that even the family that you're born into is not a coincidence. Some of this, it is something that you agree to heal, to move through. So, or even something that you didn't agree to on a conscious level, but something that you agreed to because of some fear in a previous life. I hope that makes sense. It's a really, really important point. That very little in our life is a coincidence, very little. What I wanted to say is also that addictions are also grows like samskaras, substance or behavior, but also we get addicted to our wounds. Even being a victim can be an addiction, or being addicted to getting healings is an addiction, or being addicted to anger or feeling sorry for yourself. But these are subconscious. So we're addicted to things that it just becomes part of our way of life. It's what we know, but it keeps us blocked. It keeps us hiding, and it keeps us in deep fear. So when habits and patterns become so ingrained that they alter our body chemistry, I usually stem from abandonment or not feeling worthy or not feeling lovable. Those are the main ones. There's actually more. Even anxiety is a samskara. Depression is a samskara. A lot is actually a samskara, to be honest with you. But here's the thing. For example, some of the samskaras may not even seem as big. Like if you are scared of public speaking and you don't even know why, but you're scared of public speaking, it's probably because you were punished or persecuted in one of your other lifetimes, and you got the fear of public speaking, and that samskara has carried over into this lifetime. I'll talk about how to move through and heal your emotional wounds shortly. So today we're mainly dealing with the emotional scars, the emotional samskaras. Many of them stem from our past life, many of them. Very few samskaras are just from this lifetime. In fact, I'm worried to say that none, but yeah. But I wanted to also make sure that I don't forget to talk about the great samskara of the world, the great wound, it's called. When I heard about this a while back, I was like, oh my God. So the great wound of the global, of humanity, is that moment thousands of years ago that we thought we just like that spark where we thought that we were separate. The great wound is actually duality. The moment we Start to think that you are different from me, that you are separate from me, either by your skin or by where you come from or what you believe in or who you choose to love. That is actually the great wound. If it wasn't for the great samskara, there'd be no abuse, there'd be no violence, there'd be no wars. It's pretty big. Wow. I didn't hear how this great wound got into inception. There would be no greed, there'd be no competition. But that is the great big samskara. And oftentimes our samskaras are from trauma from others that are also repeating their samskaras. You know, it's like a repetitive, it's a snowball that keeps getting bigger and bigger lifetime after lifetime. Maybe not bigger, but it keeps showing up lifetime after lifetime. But the great wound is buried so deeply into our awareness, and it's the main samskara of duality, that you are separate than me, that I'm better than you, or that you are better than me. Caste systems are like, that is samskara. That is a huge samskara. That's the great wound samskara. Besides, I'm not even talking about the one that's just like, you know, that's well known in India where everybody knows their place. But even in everywhere, people kind of know their place without talking about it. Like, you know, depending on what family you were born into, what you're conditioned to, you may never try for more because you know that that's, you know, your family didn't, and that you don't even think it's available for you. So this is, it's, that's the big samskara. That's a great, great wound. And you know, I know Tamra says there'll be peace in this lifetime. I don't know if we'll ever overcome this samskara, and I don't think that we will, because when you have such a grand scale of anger and hate, I don't know how you tackle that. You know, it's one thing with one person and tackling theirs, and then when you have, you know, there's like over 8 billion people in the world. So how do we, well, I'll tell you how. You just you manage your wounds, you manage your samskaras. And I promise you that's plenty. I promise you. I shouldn't promise. Okay. So how do we tackle our own samskaras? Yeah, it's going to get a little uncomfortable as you move through it, if you choose to. It's a choice. Awareness is the first step to change. One of the first quotes that I really fell in love with back in the time. Awareness of negative behavior patterns, breaking samskaras. Patterns of what you attract as well, and patterns of what you perpetuate, both within yourself and also outside yourself. It's not just about how we feel about ourselves, but you will track that. And then you can keep like self-sabotaging relationships, not be able to hold a job. All these are samskaras, they're patterns that are somehow, they may not even know why they keep losing their job or why they keep attracting these unhealthy, sabotaging, abusive relationships. They may not even know because it's on their deep subconscious. So awareness is the first step to change. I'm going to quote Bo Forbes again. It's Bo, and then Forbes is Forbes. So shifting samskaras is the ongoing work of chipping away at our negative patterns to eliminate the purity of the soul. So if you've been with me before in my other talks, especially the good vibration one, you should listen to that if you're interested. The seventh subtle body is where our soul is, and our soul goes with us through every lifetime. Moves with us through every lifetime. Like alchemists in our own transformation, we constantly refine and direct our samskaras into healthier designs. Well, with intention, of course, because it's pretty hard. If you don't, it takes work. There's no way you can tackle samskaras without effort and without discomfort. You just can't. Ability to shift our patterns once we've sown the seeds is self-generating, self-sustaining, and self-renewing. When we're patient enough to facilitate samskara's organic process to honor its inner sound and slow rhythm, change simply flow. And it's a joy to taste the reward of all this hard work in its natural form, the sweetness that arises from seeing long labor and preparation come to fruition. I gotta tell you, it's not easy. But man, I wouldn't be where I am now. I would not be where I am now. Well, especially what I was happened to me in 25, probably wouldn't even be here. So beyond just being here on times, yeah. Okay, so the first step, I'm actually going to do two things for you guys. I'm also going to do a bit of a yoga system of tackling some scars, but first I'll do the kind of like the simplified tackling of some scars, and we've got time. Yay. First is seeing and recognizing the pattern. Example, fear of speaking because persecuted in another life, so public speaking. So many don't even know why they have this fear or this pattern, but they repeat it anyway. Fear of public speaking, when aware of these emotional patterns, we can understand how they affect us and have the power to feed them and how we can begin to shift them. So first is that awareness. Okay, whoa, I keep having this pattern. And these patterns stem from betrayal, fear, unworthiness, punishment, abandonment, not feeling safe in this lifetime or in past lifetimes. So now we're aware. Now what do we do? Choice. So super scary to move out of your comfort zone. I know, I've been there, and it's like, whoa, you just feel, I don't know, it's moving out of your comfort zone just enough to feel safe. Fearlessness is needed. You need to kind of get to this point. It's like, all right, already, I see that this is happening. I don't want this anymore. I don't want this in my life. I don't want this in me. So facing the unknown, and the unknown is letting go of that identity of being a victim or feeling abandoned or feeling alone. It is an identity, by the way, as well. And we identify to it and we attach to it, just to be attached to being a victim. Oh my gosh, guys, I don't know how many activations I can run, but there's so many. So I have to be careful not to knock you guys out. If it's nighttime for you guys, it's okay, because then you can sleep, go straight to sleep. So how do you know you've activated a samskara? Well, you feel strong emotional, mental, and physical reactivity, not just being volatile. You don't just be volatile to know there's a samskara. It doesn't need to be so extreme to realize that it's a samskara. It's difficult to let go of those strong emotional, mental, and physical reactions. So we feel stuck in this repetitive loop, like unhealthy relationships, or not feeling worthy, or thinking that no one's going to love you as you are. And it may even feel impossible to shift your mental focus away from the overwhelming thoughts and feelings. So this requires great courage, and I like the word fearlessness. You could fear, you could be scared and do it anyway, to a degree that you still feel safe in the world. That's really, really important, that the nervous system goes with you on any healing journey. If you don't even think about the nervous system, it's going to be a very long journey. So make sure that you're tending to feeling safe in your body. So if you feel trapped in the cycle of self-destruction and self-destitute, or help us to break out of it. So then the next step is, when you notice this sabotaging behavior or emotion, well, then you start to replace it with wholesome responses. This is the part that's uncomfortable, because it's almost like you're shifting to a new way, a new you in a way. So shifting to thoughts of loving and kindness. And the big way to do that is setting affirmations. May I be enough. I am lovable. Or write things that are positive, and also write things that are negative, and then burn the negative. And actually, that reminds me, I used to be a school teacher, and I did this before I was even a healer. It's so funny. I was teaching grade 3, and we made a list of little papers, all the things that they can do, and then all the things that they can't do in those little papers. And then we went to the back of the school where there was soft soil, and we buried all the I can't. There you go. So that's like there's different ways to burn and clear all the things, but you have to bring it into your awareness. And then you have to start to say those intentions and those mantras. And those mantras, whether it's I am lovable, are gonna, the repetition of that till it starts to feed and fill your souls. By the way, you will still notice there's some scars. I still am aware of things. Like sometimes when I'm in a busy gym, I start to have my tendency of like, anyway, and then I just take a few breaths and I notice that this is my pattern. This is my samskara. It's not me. And I put it aside and I'm going in. So whatever, this is just a little example. That was a behavioral, well, no, it was also emotional samskara. I don't really like places with a lot of people. All right, here's the yogi version, and you'll have to be quick. The yogi version of moving through some scars. I'm not going to say the Sanskrit names. I'm just going to say the explanation. So first, what sensation are you experiencing? What are you feeling? What thoughts? Just kind of bring that to your awareness. Then recognize that that is a negative samskara. Awareness, then recognize that that is your samskara. Then fearlessness, like I said, to face the unknown when ending a familiar pattern. There's an in-between space that's really kind of yucky and uncomfortable. You gotta like breathe through it and just know that you are strong enough and courageous enough. Then you said positive intentions. They're called sankalpas. That is actually an important word. Intentions are huge, just like the mantras, similar. Intentions of what you do want, your new vision, your positive samskara. For example, unconditional love. Then practice, put it into practice. Kind of like what I did, what I get into, I see my pattern showing up and I breathe and I notice, and then I put that into practice and I'm able to show up without that samskara self-sabotaging me. So the pattern may not leave. It's a constant practice. So when you notice an old pattern, unworthiness or feeling alone, you repeat that mantra that you created, that intention that you created the time before. It is possible to shift and lead a healthy life. More importantly than leading a healthy life, feeling good and lovable about yourself, and then also knowing that you're worthy of it all. Wow. On that note, we're going to take a little break. And then with sacred activations, we're going to help clear some of those self-sabotaging samskaras. See you in 2 minutes.
Om Times TV. Do you want to go deeper into sacred activations, which is a subconscious metaprogramming process? Tamra Oviatt is inviting you to visit her website at tamraoviatt.com to sign up and get lifetime access to 3 free activations that you can listen to anytime you want or as often as you need. If you like what Tamra does and like to incorporate sacred activations into your life, she also offers live webinars, masterclasses, and practitioners training to further support your healing, manifestations, and expansion. There are hundreds of activations on her website that address different aspects of your life: money, health, relationships, intuitive abilities, and more. Head over to her website at tamraoviatt.com and experience the magic of sacred activations. Thank you for listening. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Om Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, 𝐿 offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an 𝐿 magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on 𝐿 TV and broadcasting it across the extensive 𝐿 radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. 𝐿. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
You know, it's good to get the information first, and now we're going to breathe and receive. And almost that all this information that I just gave is giving the healing context, not even beyond your conscious mind, even whatever showed up in your body as I was explaining. So it's actually good. It's almost like it's ripening for the healing, for the clearing. So this is actually, it's a great combo. So go ahead and sit or lay down. And with every exhalation, bring yourself deeper into your body. Start to really feel the breath move in your belly, in your lower dantian, or just below your third chakra. And then go ahead and make your way down to the heart of Mother Earth. Don't worry if you don't see it. That intention is enough. And from that place of the holding of the loving Mother Earth, the feminine, give yourself full permission to receive, open up to receive, and know that you are worthy. Know that you are worthy. Maybe even putting your hand on your heart as you do that. And you may want to do that throughout any time where you hear an activation that you know is going to be a hard one for you. Anytime you put your hand on your heart, it softens. It lets the guard down and allows you to receive, knowing that you're safe. We're going to start with running inner child reconnection. Accept to receive. And why I'm starting with this is, by the way, also the fragments of your inner child that were left in other lifetimes, and yes, possibly this lifetime as well. But it could, you know, when we're kids, well, maybe especially for kids, but not limited to being kids, even a little bit of fear could have part of our soul, a fragment of us, be too scared and we let it go. So we miss fragments of our being. We lose, fragments. Polar opposites, of course, allows for the new pathways of unconditional love to replace the negative pathways in the brain by focusing on the programs that are constantly running unconsciously. Your samskara, your ingrained scars. Let's shift the neural pathway. Addiction redirection. It can be, of course, any kind of substance abuse, even food addiction. But I also want you to consider even an addiction to playing small or being the victim. Things that maybe you don't even think about, that just kind of, yeah. So when you accept this activation, let it be for any way that you are not showing self-care and self-love for you, in a repetitive way in your life. Running addiction redirection, sacred activation. Any kind of emotions that cause suffering, and help to heal our perception of experience that caused those emotions. This help you release anything you may be using as a substitute for love and nurturing. I'm going to stack the next two, which means I'll be quiet for a little longer as I run them both one after the other. And one is called Karmic Loop. Patterns that you're repeating karmically, and karmically means from past lives. And then the second one is Karmic Trauma Release. So releasing any traumas of past lives. And it'll probably take them, it'll release thousands, but it'll release the ones that are most relevant right now for you to release on an individual level. Accept to receive, this is a biggie. So really just set that intention. Karmic Loop, starting with Karmic Loop. Hamster wheel. Let's get you off the hamster wheel of repeating anything. Could, it can be something may feel small, but it's still impacting you from truly feeling that inner balance. Hamster wheel. Oftentimes it's the familiarity. It's all we've ever known. And then it's the fear. What will life look like after? What will I look like after? What will the people around me, will they abandon me when I shift and I change? Actually, you will lose people as you evolve. Absolutely. There's a lot of grief in healing, but it's all worth it to reclaim your sovereignty and your wholeness. I'm going to stack the next two. Yesterday's news, letting go of the old narratives. Because as you go on this healing journey, those narratives are not going to serve you. So the old story or living in that story, it's not going to serve you. And self-sabotage release. Similar, because as long as we hold on to that narrative, it's going to keep reliving in our lives and sabotaging. So accept to receive. I'm going to stack the next two as well. Nervous system upgrade. Remember, you want the nervous system to go with you on your healing path. And then fight or flight release. There's actually even fight, flight, and there's even fawn, like where we hide and we kind of play the victim. And then there's freeze, where we kind of stop in our tracks. And so we generally have these four patterns. You don't need to know which one, or maybe you do know. So maybe perhaps what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the nervous system upgrade. I'm going to write the fight, flight, fawn, or freeze release. And you just have to let it flow. The energy is intelligent, comes from source. It will know what to release for you. Here we go. Really allow yourself to receive this. It's a huge attachment to one of these ways of responding to life. The fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. Nervous system upgrade first. fight, fight, flight, fawn, or freeze, release, sacred activation. And if you know which one you are, then just say in your mind, release. Release the fight or release the freeze. I'm gonna stack the next two as well. I don't, it just happened this way. It wasn't planned, but duality release. You're separate than me, which all of that is an illusion. So I'm gonna stack with that is the reptilian brain release. And the reptilian brain is what keeps us in the stories, it keeps us in fear, it keeps us in the illusions of the third dimension. They're just a really great pair to go together, except to receive. These two may just really breathe expansively. I belong. Sacred activation. Oh. So they're telling me to run universal child. Universal child. We all, okay. I'm stacking with that universal child. I am worthy. So both the next two have to do with love beyond just us as individuals. So Flower of Life, which I love, it connects our energetic heart to the heart of the fifth dimension. But also I'm going to run Unconditional Love Reconnection. So right now, all around the globe, there's like, in the unconditional love grid system around the planet, the love is like a pea and the fear is like a watermelon. So we're going to switch that. And this is where you healing you as an individual is also helping heal the world, really. So I'm going to run Flower of Life and Unconditional Love Reconnection, both for you. Well, it is you and humanity, really. So your vibration will resonate with unconditional love. Oh, really allow yourself to receive this. You put your hand on your heart and know that when you heal yourself, you're not just healing you. And it's not even just your ancestors. It goes beyond even that. We often underestimate our own power and the impact we can have because we think I'm just one. Well, imagine if everybody thought they were just one and didn't do anything. Godspeed. Let all these activations run with ease and grace, with the speed that is in anybody that's watching this episode, in your each individual highest good. Ease and grace. And Phoenix rising, or the rise of the Phoenix, rising from the ashes, full of love, worthiness, and feeling safe in this great big world. The thing is that when we rise back up, we are more colorful, we're brighter. Because not only do we rise back up and we heal, but we're also wiser, more courageous, having gone through that. And that reflects in all parts of our life. This will continue to run for the next couple of hours, and the integration for some of these, especially the karmic ones, can take several months. But make your way down to the heart of Mother Earth. And let the Mother hold you in grounding, healing, and integrating energies. And then on the next inhale, just let the breath travel and stop at your heart center. And take a few breaths, expanding your breath in your chest cavity. And if you want, you can put your hands on your heart. We're going to close off with a mantra. If it resonates, say it out loud. It's always different vibrations spoken out loud. I am back into my body. I am worthy. I belong, and I am lovable. I am back into my body. I am worthy. I belong, and I am lovable. I am back into my body. I am worthy. I belong, and I am lovable. And you are lovable. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Do a little stretchy stretch. If you can, it's not too late for you where you are, maybe take a little walk outside. Just really feel your feet on the earth and the sun above you, Father Sky and Mother Earth. And know that you're always held, both above and below and all around. As always, it's an honor. Thank you, Tamra, for allowing me this honor and privilege to hold space for whoever comes across this episode. Much love. Bye for now. Thank you.